to us by the Sahaba, as it was conveyed to us by the Sahaba, as it was understood by the Sahaba. Not just the conveyance, but also the understanding. Because we might accept a text as being authentic because it is authentically narrated. But the interpretation and understanding of that text, what does that depend on? It depends on the understanding of the Sahaba. Their understanding has to take precedence. We look back at the companions, radiallahu anhum, and how they understood these verses, these hadiths. It is not in the way that you have understood it. So now, if we asked the tabi'een, the students of the Sahaba, what was your madhab? Qatada, we ask him, for example. What was your madhab? What is he going to say? He said, I follow the Abbasi madhab because I used to study under Ibn Abbas all the time. Or I follow the Al-Asi madhab because I used to study under Amr ibn al-As, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As. Or I follow the different leading scholars amongst the Sahaba. None of them used these attributions. They didn't do that. They would all say, we're following the madhab of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, as it was conveyed to us by the Sahaba, as it was conveyed to us by the Sahaba, as it was understood by the Sahaba. Not just the conveyance, but also the understanding. Because we might accept a text as being authentic because it is authentically narrated. But the interpretation and understanding of that text, what does that depend on? It depends on the understanding of the Sahaba. Their understanding has to take precedence. We look back at the companions, how they understood these verses, these hadiths. It is not in the way that you have understood it. So that's why we need to go back to the way, the understanding of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And the Prophet ﷺ, as we said before when he said about the way, the one way that is going to paradise, he said, Ma ana alayhi wa ashabi, that which I am on and my companions. So he added the companions as being a part of that way. And he also said, Khairun nasi qarni, the best of people are my generation. So he stressed this, the importance of the companions. Furthermore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran said, وَمَنْ يَشَاقِقِ الرَّسُولِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ الْهُدَى وَيَتَّبِعْ غَيْرَ سَبِيلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ نُوَلِّهِ مَا تَوَلَّى وَنُصْلِهِ جَهَنَّمْ وَسَاءَتْ مَصِيرًا. And whoever contradicts and opposes the messenger after guidance has been made clear to him, and he takes a path other than that of the believers, we will leave him to himself and put him in hell, a terrible end. Now, it was sufficient for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to say, whoever contradicts the messenger, we will leave him and put him in hell. That's enough. But he added and took a path other than the way of the believers. And all of the scholars of tafsir are unanimous that when that verse was revealed, the believers referred to the Sahaba. Those who take a path other than the path of the Sahaba. They will be left to themselves and put in hell. They will go astray. So, the madhab of Rasulullah ﷺ was conveyed by the Sahaba to the tabi'een. Among them, some scholars consider Abu Hanifa to be from among them. That he didn't actually narrate from any of the Sahaba, but that he did see. The difference of opinion relative to whether he was or he wasn't. Anyway, we had then Abu Hanifa. leading scholar from the generation after, really among the tabi'in. We ask him, Ya Abu Hanifa, O Abu Hanifa, what is your madhab? What is he going to say? The Hanafi madhab? No. He used to tell his companions, his students, don't write down what I tell you of my opinions. They said, why not? Because today I may hold an opinion, tomorrow I hold another opinion. And the day after I hold another opinion, and the day after that I have another opinion. So don't write them down. Just take from where I took it. Take it from where I took it. وَإِذَا صَحَّ الْحَدِيث فَهُوَ مَذْهَبِي. And if you find a hadith which is authentic, then that is really my madhab. So what is Abu Hanifa saying here? He's saying his madhab is the madhab of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The madhab of the Sahih Hadith. The Sahih Hadith is what conveys to us the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? So this is what he would have said. Similarly, Imam Malik. Anybody asking him, he was not going to say, I follow the Maliki madhab. He had no intention of making a madhab. He just taught. What? The Sunnah. He taught the Sunnah. Now, if we look at Imam Shafi'i, Imam Shafi'i is a classical example of the way of the companions, the tabi'in, tabi'in. In that, the companions were on different grades. Some of them were with the Prophet ﷺ from the early days. Some of them accepted Islam just prior to the conquest of Mecca. Some of them after the conquest of Mecca. So they came into Islam at different stages. Some had more knowledge of the deen than others. So those who had less knowledge, they would study under those who had more. Those who were younger studied under those who were older. Sometimes the younger ones had more and people who were older studied under them. So they studied and were free to study under whoever was available. They would never say, I am only going to study under Abdullah ibn Umar, for example. Tabi'in, same thing. They would not stick to one companion and only study under him. No, they studied under him and they would go and study under other companions of the Prophet ﷺ freely. Nobody had a problem. Nobody complained. Nobody raised any issues, that you're fatwa shopping. Because this is the common point that comes up later on, right, in our times. This fatwa shopping, right? Where you go to this madhab, you go here, you go there, you ask this one, you ask that one. And so the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, they went, they asked. They asked this companion, they asked that one, they asked the other one. The tabi'in, they did the same thing. Tabi'in did the same thing. And then Imam Shafi'i, student of Imam Malik for 20 years, that we mentioned, didn't begin teaching until after Imam Malik died. Teaching in Yemen. He's accused of Shiite leanings. Taken as a prisoner to Baghdad. He has to defend his position. He argued he was not leaning towards Shiaism at all. He's released. There in Baghdad, he studied under Muhammad al-Shaybani, student of Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa is already dead. So he studied under his students. He gained knowledge there. Now when he was in Yemen teaching, he was teaching based on the knowledge he had accumulated from Imam Malik. After studying under the students of Abu Hanifa, he changed a number of his opinions and he wrote a book called Al-Hujjah. His book called Al-Hujjah. And there he outlined his positions, his new positions, where he changed from positions of Imam Malik, etc. Then he went to Egypt in order to